What is the Loch Ness Monster? The Loch Ness Monster is, in fact, a real creature, and today I'm going to prove that to you. But the Loch Ness Monster isn't as monstrous as we think it is. In fact, it's an animal we see in everyday movies, on TV and social media, and some people keep it as a pet, although it is not recommended. Scientists and Loch Ness Monsters fans can all agree on one thing: that people see something when they visit Lake Loch Ness. And what we don't know is what we don't know. We don't know it, what the monster is, if it's really a monster, or if it's just a giant fish. And there have been theories about the Loch Ness Monster from everything from a long surviving dinosaur to circus elephants taking a swim. But what is Nessie really? A dino, shark, or quite possibly an aquatic serpent known or unknown to human animals? The Loch Ness Monster is described as a giant serpent reptile like creature who lives in the depths of freshwater Loch Ness Lake in the Highlands of Scotland. The identity of the species of Loch Ness is still unknown, but scientists have a few theories. Now, speaking of unknown species, there have been rumors that the Loch Ness Monster could be a plesiosaur, an aquatic dinosaur that was thought to have gone extinct a long time ago. The aquatic creature is cold-blooded and could not survive the Scottish island's cold lake. But what about an evolved form of the creature? Science still says no. Even if the dinosaur managed to change the temperature of its blood, it would still need to come up for air often, even when it was evolved. And even though evolution of the beast could not change, it could not change its vivacious appetite. They would still need to eat and compete with local predators for food. And given the age of the creature when it was spotted, it would need to have spawned more to keep seeing seen the same size throughout the years. So there would have to been more than one in the lake. I'm pretty sure that would have, drew some heads, even if it was underwater. Now, can the Loch Ness Monster be a Greenland shark? Okay, it's possible that sharks can survive in fresh water. There are several species that do, in fact, live in fresh water. And the lake is vast enough and plenty enough for a shark to survive comfortably and for a long time, maybe even invite some friends over. Now, Greenland sharks have been spotted in Scotland waters prior to Loch Ness, but let's not yet jump to conclusions. We're going to put a pin in the shark theory for now. Now, eyewitness accounts have described Nessie as serpent-like and having a long neck. But sorry, baby shark, it looks like you're going to have to hunt somewhere else because your biology doesn't exactly fit the eyewitness criteria. Now, a favorite theory of mine is that the Loch Ness Monster is really an eel. I've always had a fascination for eels, especially the ones that can produce lightning. Now, I blame Ursula's jetsam and flotsam for this. There are species of eels that can grow over 10 feet. And as any person, native or otherwise, can tell you, the Loch Ness is full of eels. Even children hunt them for sport with their families when visiting the lake. Now, two fan favorites for the title of Nessie are the European eel and the Congo eel, both of which can grow up to impressive lengths and both of which live in fresh water. Now, European eels are catadronomous, which means that they live in fresh water but move to sea to spawn, which explains why sightings are limited and mostly during tourist months. Now, the European eels can also grow from 60 to 80 centimeters and have even been recorded to grow 1.5 centimeters in special cases. Now, I personally believe a Congo eel is responsible for fueling the Loch Ness Monster craze. Congo eels live everywhere from Scandinavian waters all the way to Africa, going as far as Senegal. Congo eels live throughout the Mediterranean Sea, and some have even been spotted in the Black Sea. Now, Congo eels are also very big, very thick, and have a special coating of slime that makes them very shiny in the sun when they come up for air. Now, these eels can grow up to 10 feet in size, and in 2001, 2 7-foot specimens were discovered at Loch Ness, which means there could be bigger Congo eels out there that we have not seen yet. Now, from personal preferences, I see eels, but there was a DNA study done by Professor Neil Jamal at the University of Otago, which they went on a mission to create an eDNA map of Loch Ness. Now, they did this by collecting 250 samples from various spots of Loch Ness. The team did this successfully, which was not an easy feat to take on. This lake is very vast. Loch Ness is 23 miles long and approximately 788 feet deep. Now, the team then compiled their samples and compared them against every known species in Loch Ness and found no evidence of any unknown species in the lake. This is the same method they used to rule out pliosaurs, sturgeons, which are very big fish, by the way, Greenland sharks, and yes, catfish and swimming circus elephants. Now, this doesn't mean that Loch Ness could have just been one animal. There could have been multiple animals spotted by different people throughout the year, but it's probably one species of fish being spotted by multiple people. Now, the team then did find overwhelming eel DNA in the lake, which leads scientists to believe that there are way more eels in the lake than they originally thought. Now, quoting Professor Neil Jamel, the remaining theory that we cannot rule out based on the environmental DNA data obtained is that what people are seeing is a very large eel. The study summary reads, eels are plentiful in Loch Ness, with eel DNA found at pretty much every location sampled. There are a lot of them. To further back their studies, eels are sometimes mistaken as water snakes, and because eels are very long and thick, it is not entirely improbable that a person could mistake a giant eel for the neck of a bigger, more terrifying creature like the pliosaur. Now, my call to action is just to leave Nessie alone. Going hunting for the eel version of Megalodon is a waste of time and will disturb the natural wildlife that resides in the lake. Not to mention the tourist population. Nessie brings tourists to Loch Ness and fuels local businesses, which survive on tourist foot power. Now, giant eels are a lot more intriguing than monsters, but others may not think so, and having around-the-clock hunting parties and studies could have a negative impact on local ecosystem and the tourist life. The majority of small businesses depend on tourists to keep their doors open. Now, eels may change their behavior to avoid the researchers, or they may become used to humans and accept them. But if they stay true to their eel nature, they will attack. Eels are very aggressive when provoked, especially when it comes to territory, and they may see humans as invading or taking their territory and attack, which would naturally deter tourists. In fact, eel bites are not common when diving. Now, eels can and will bite humans, and humans have been attacked previously in eel territory, and 2 different species of eels are known to kill humans in their territory, and are even on several most dangerous fish lists. These species are called the moray and the classic electric eel. Now, eels are very impressive creatures, don't you think? But the lesson here is that the Loch Ness monster is not a monster at all. In fact, it is a new species of eel, or an evolved species of an eel that we previously knew about. And it is not a dinosaur that evolved. Nessie is not Jaws or a catfish. Nessie isn't even a wandering circus elephant. Nessie is a variation of giant eels who just want to be left alone. And if we do not mess with the eels, we can all live in peace. Tourism can flourish, and the eels can live in peace behind the veil of Nessie. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video.